and winter is coming.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
For the watch.
Yeah. It must be a little weird, like getting a package and you open it and it's your brother's penis. It's a little weird. And then you kind of meet him a few years later and like, I mean, I've seen your dick, but it wasn't on you. So it adds a little more, layers of awkwardness to it, considering she didn't even get to see it on him. She didn't even get to see it in action.
It's a little bit traumatizing.
And they say Theon Greyjoy's penis was the best in Westeros.
Right.
Said by Theon Greyjoy. Hey everyone, welcome to Westeros After Hours. I'm Sean and I'm joined by Bob.
Right here.
And Bobby is under the weather slightly, a little under the weather, but you know what I mean. We're gonna get our umbrellas out. We're gonna try to
keep going with this.
Try to get through the mud and the puddles because there's a lot of them. So we just saw season 6, episode 4
last night. Yep.
Titled "Book of the Stranger," and we have thoughts. We always have thoughts.
Yes.
I have thoughts. You have thoughts.
Thoughts.
So we're not even gonna fucking wait. We're gonna jump right into this shit. You're giving me a look of concern, Bob. You're giving me a look of concern. I'm a little concerned about you. Yeah. Anyway, we'll get through this, Bob. Don't worry. We'll get through this. All right. So we're gonna
spoiler alarm go. All right.
Damn. Just every week. Doing it every week. All right. We should get rid of the intro and just have the spoiler alarm. That's it. Just like the spoiler alarm for like a good minute and a half. But yes, we are spoiling everything. I mean, at this point, if you don't expect we are, you're kind of an idiot. Sorry. Bye.
Yep.
So we're gonna start off. I just hit the ball. Home run. We're gonna start off with one of my favorite scenes, favorite scenes in the episode. We're gonna start off with Castle Black.
Yes.
So we start off the episode. Jon Snow's talking to Ed. Ed's like, "Why are you leaving? You know the White Walkers are coming." And Jon Snow's like, I gotta go. I'm leaving. Nothing's gonna stop me." And then Sansa Stark with Brienne of Tarth and Podrick come in, and we have a little reunion between Sansa and Jon.
Yes.
And I mean, these two Starks are like, I'm counting Jon Snow as a Stark in this circumstance.
Yeah.
These two Starks have never had a scene together ever. Mm-hmm. So they're the two Starks that are kind of like the least connected.
Yeah.
But that does not take away from like the scene. Like this scene is definitely a very emotional reunion. Jon Snow is like so like shocked that she's alive. Like he can't even take it in, and there's a nice emotional scene, and they embrace each other, and it's very, very emotional. And I was like, damn, that hit me hard. And fun fact, this is the first time we saw two Starks together
since Bran and Rickon.
No, well, since the Reign of Castamere.
Oh, really?
Season 3, episode 9. Yeah, Bran and Rickon. Yeah, that was the last time. Yeah. It was 3 seasons. This is the last time we've seen two Starks together. So it was pretty cool to see them together. And what I really liked about this scene, where they kind of meet each other, is they don't just meet each other and then like, we're best friends, because Sansa's like, yeah, like I was kind of shady to you, and Jon's like, well, I was kind of like the downer kid. And then they kind of like aren't like, we're best buddies now. Like they get in a little, not like an argument, but they get in a little debate. Like Sansa's like, we need to take Winterfell, and Jon Snow's like, I've been fighting. They've had these whole like 5 seasons. All I've been doing is fighting,
and they killed me for it. So
yeah, I need a break. So it was very cool to see like that they have this emotional reunion, but it doesn't change the characters. The characters are still the characters. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a really strong reunion. What did you think?
Yeah, it was good. It's pretty strong, and it's the first time that any of the Starks are together for a long time, which kind of is like pointing toward the direction that the season's going so far.
Yeah.
Where
Stark Revolution. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's nice to see Jon, and it happens in a later scene at Castle Black, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Yeah.
Where he kind of accepts it, but he was so set on not
very
fighting
hesitant.
for a while.
Very hesitant, yeah. And it makes sense that Sansa Stark's the one to really want to push this forward. She's the one who really wants to take Winterfell back, like bring the Starks back. And Jon Snow's just like, look, I'm so tired. Like I need a vacation, man. Like I need to like book a trip to Dorne.
He's like, I died. Can I just rest for a little bit?
Like go to Dorne, like on the beaches, and just like kind of like hang out for a little bit, You know,
He was even when he was talking to Ed, he was like, "Where will you go?" And it was like, "South."
Yeah, just out of here. Yeah, so I enjoyed this scene. The only thing I didn't enjoy, the only thing that kind of, maybe not a plot hole, but something that really was like, that. So did they like acknowledge that Sansa like knows that he died? Because she kind of has to for him to leave. Because she's like, let's leave. So she kind of has to know that he's released from his oath, right?
No,
because I feel like she has to know that, and I feel like she almost even mentioned it. But like I feel like I don't know if she knows that
I think she knows because I think John may have told her, like when she got there.
Right, but I feel like she would even like still be like, what?
You
like
die?
Even Davos hasn't come to grasp of it,
Yeah.
and he's seen the stuff Melisandre does.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that was a little like they didn't even maybe acknowledge that, but maybe she doesn't know. I don't know. Like I really hope they don't just breeze over that. Like I hope like she has because everyone else is like, you're a god. I want her to be like, whoa, like I thought you were just like some bastard, and you're this like you came back from the dead. Like that's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But they kind of glossed over that, which I don't know if it was on purpose. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
She seemed kind of accepting of everything.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. If they mention it in a later episode, I'll be fine with it. But if they don't, that's something that kind of upset me, and I'm like, really didn't. They could have at least tried that. That kind of upset me. But anyway, skip a little bit into the episode near the end. We get the equivalent of the pink letter. Now, I don't know if you know what that is, but the pink letter in the books is basically Ramsay sending a letter, and it's a threat. It's changed a lot from the books because of the circumstance that happened in the TV show.
Yeah.
So basically, the letter is like, hey, like, I hate you. You're a bastard. I'm gonna kill you. Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
In the show, Mance Rayder's still alive, so it's like Mance Rayder stuff in there, but obviously, in the books, rather, Mance Rayder's alive.
Yeah.
In the show, events have changed. Sansa's not in the Eyrie, so it's kind of a different letter, but it's the equivalent of the pink letter.
Mm-hmm.
Basically saying we have Rickon, his stupid direwolf, decorates the halls, like, come see Winterfell, it's mine. Basically kind of like jabbing at him.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of inspires him and Sansa inspires Jon Snow to jump on Sansa's cause.
Yes.
To take Winterfell back. Yeah, I thought the letter was, it was definitely Ramsay.
Mm-hmm.
That letter was definitely Ramsay. I don't know. I didn't necessarily hate it. I thought the scene was I'm neutral on it. I didn't think it was a super strong scene, but I didn't think it was really a weak scene. I'm just neutral on it. But did you enjoy the scene?
Yeah, it was. There was a point where, like, the obscenities in the letter.
Yeah.
Like John couldn't even. He just stopped.
Yeah, he couldn't
and
even
Sansa
read
took
it.
And
Yeah, that also shows us how Sansa's changed
Yeah.
too, from an innocent little girl, and even something we kind of miss is they kind of like in the first scene where they're sitting together, they kind of talk about how like they wish they could go back and stop them from leaving Winterfell, which kind of shows that Sansa, she was like, was a stupid idiot girl who had all this hope in the world that I could be like a princess and stuff, but obviously she's changed a lot since then.
Yep.
She's still not. She's a stronger character, but she's still not like the strongest character.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in this episode, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's just the amount of stuff she's gone through. Where at the beginning of the show she was gonna be queen, and then now she's here. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
And like her character shows what she's been through.
Exactly. So yeah, now we're gonna move on. We're gonna stay at Castle Black and move on to a short little scene that happened between Brienne,
Davos
and
and
Melisandre. Now this scene was interesting. Basically Davos, I actually wish this scene lasted a little longer, but I was fine with the length, I guess. But there's a scene where Davos is confronting Melisandre, like, yo, what happened? Like he kind of like forgot. He's like, wait a minute, all right, all this Jon Snow stuff's over. Like, let's kind of back up. Like, what happened with Stannis?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, you just died in the battle. And then Brienne, who arrived, comes up and she's like, girl, I know what you did to Renly, so I killed Stannis for it. I killed him. And then you can see the face on Davos like change, and he's like super concerned and like shocked and just like I feel like the look expressed many different emotions, like the emotion of he was sad, the emotion of anger, he wanted to stab Brienne, like angry at Melisandre for lying, like there's many different emotions, and Melisandre kind of just walked away and went, oh, see ya.
Yeah.
I know that this little scene was, it wasn't. It was a good scene. It wasn't necessarily unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Great job.
Superb grammar.
Yeah, but it could have been out of the episode, and the episode would have been fine. But I'm really glad they included it because I loved this scene. I
Yeah,
love
it was interesting to see Brienne with Davos and Melisandre.
Yeah, and it was cool how they like they kind of like really pay attention to all the times they interact, and the writers kind of caught that, and they were even like, hey, like we never met before. Oh wait, yeah, we did in season 2 for like a couple seconds. Blah 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 blah.
Yep.
Like, it was cool that they acknowledged that they actually had met before. It's pretty cool, like Team Stannis and Team Renly, like confronting each other. What's left of those two teams?
Yeah,
and that was pretty cool, and it made Brienne look badass. And I'm like, anything that makes Brienne look badass, I'm all on board because Brienne is absolutely badass. What did you think of this scene?
It was good. It was Brienne kind of like confronting them about what happened.
Yeah.
It was very, very tense because her whole drive has been to kill Stannis. Like that's like half of her drive.
Avenge Renly.
It was avenge Renly and protect Sansa. Those were her two things. And now that one of them's done, and then the people who are on Stannis' side are interacting with her, it's strange to see.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
And you can see it in the tenseness of that scene.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree. I enjoyed that scene quite a bit, and I anything with Brienne and Davos and Melisandre, I'm all for.
Yes.
I think it'd be really interesting if they are like forced to team up. That'd be pretty cool. At least Davos and Brienne. I kind of want to see that. Yeah. I kind of think I like that team Davos and Brienne. I kind of want that to happen. Not like romantically, just like that.
And I like those little looks that Tormund kept giving Brienne.
Yeah.
That was
interesting. I also like thought back because I remember in like I think it was season 3. Yeah, it was probably season 3. Tormund mentioned that he kind of like fucks bears, or he used to fuck bears, and like Brienne is like alluded to bears, and she had that run in with the bear, and she's the bear in the maiden fair.
The bear and the maiden fair.
So I thought it was interesting how they kind of connected that. But whatever. Yeah, that was interesting. I'm not sure if I was like yeah or like oh, like I don't know. I can't describe my emotion during that weird interaction. But I think we're good on that. I enjoyed these scenes quite a bit. I did have a little problem, like I said, with Sansa, like not avenging Jon Snow's revival, but maybe they'll do it later. We'll see. Whatever. But overall, these scenes were awesome. So now we're going to move on to a few other scenes in a different place in King's Landing. So we start off in King's Landing with Marjorie. The High Sparrow kind of like, takes her out of her cell and tells her a little story about how he basically was like a partier almost, and a bunch of his friends all got drunk, and then he's all watched some of them die. He's like, I can't do this anymore. And he was kind of like a little bit of irony because he said he was a cobbler. Well, his father was a cobbler. Yeah. And he wears no shoes, so I thought that was a cool little allusion. So basically he tells this story, and you hear Marjorie listen, and you're like, oh no, like, is Marjorie falling for this shit? Like, I get that he's genuine, but he doesn't make him less of a dick. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, like, I really hope Marjorie's not falling for this shit. But then he basically,
and she even said that part of what he was telling her, like a section of it was from the 7-Pointed Star.
Exactly. So So the title of the Book of the Stranger obviously alludes to this scene. It actually could allude to a few other scenes, but maybe we'll talk about that at the end. But basically, like the like concrete allusion is here. Yeah. Where she mentions like in the Book of the Stranger,
this line was there that you just said.
Yeah, basically, and that kind of like shows like the High Sparrow that she knows what she's talking about, but also because she did say that she was getting preached that every day while sitting in cells. So I mean, but regardless, it kind of shows that she's growing, or at least kind of like tricks him or tricks the audience. Because during this point, I was like, oh no, like don't fall for this. Yeah. But what did you think of this little interaction, this little scene?
I don't know. It kind of built on the fact that the Sparrow wants to save Marjorie, I guess, because he had said in the last episode that you've started on the path, but you still have a long way to go.
I don't think he wants to save her per se, because I think he knows. Because I think he's just like playing this game because he knows like he can't get rid of her. Like it's the only thing stopping like Tommen and his army from wiping them out is that they have Marjorie. That's the only thing that's like stopping them from doing it. So he definitely doesn't want to get rid of her. But I think what he wants to do is he's trying to get her on his side. Because if he can like somehow convert Marjorie like on her side, or even Loras, because that's Marjorie's brother, on their side, like he's all set. Like they can't do shit. They won't. Maybe they will. I don't know. We'll see. But I thought the scene was pretty cool. But then we see Marjorie kind of go to Sir Loras. High Sparrow's like, yeah, you've earned a few minutes with him, and this scene. Like watching Sir Loras lay on the ground, like, oh god, like it was painful to watch. Yeah. It was very painful, and how they just broke him down.
Broke him.
And we kind of see her be like, this motherfucker, this High Sparrow, is trying to trick me. He's trying to put me in here. I know what he's playing. I know what he's doing. So it kind of like reassures the audience that she's not falling for it.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm playing his game. You gotta play it too. You can't give up. You gotta stay strong. Like, play this game. You know what I mean? And he's like, I'm giving up. Like, I'm done. And she's like, dude, like, ugh. And she's like,
Don't give up.
She's like, this is what they're, you know what I mean? They're putting me in here, so I will fall for this, but I'm not gonna. So I thought the scene was awesome. I thought it really showed how strong Marjorie is.
Yeah.
It also makes me like her more. Not that I never disliked her. It's just, you know, I liked her, but like, she's like as fake as anyone could possibly be.
Yeah.
She's like a prettier version of Cersei, except not as evil, I guess. But her, like, I guess her intentions are like hidden behind like all these, like, I don't know, like her smile and shit.
To bring a D&D reference, she would be more toward chaotic good, and Cersei would be around chaotic evil.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, what did you think of these two scenes, and what did you think of, especially since we already talked about the Marjorie and High Sparrow scene, what do you think of the Marjorie and Sir Loras interaction?
The Marjorie and Loras interaction was interesting because she's been saying the whole time that she wants to see her brother, and then when she finally saw him, he had just been destroyed.
Yeah.
Like, and she just had to go from like, oh, this is a reunion to, I need to get you back on track.
Basically.
So that was good. And the High Sparrow's deliverance through that whole story was great.
It was great, yes.
So.
It even hooked me. And I agree. So we're going to move on with, Cersei has an interaction with the small council.
Yep.
This is after a small scene with Tommen that we're not really going to go over because I don't think it was really important.
No.
So Cersei is talking with the head
of the king.
With the tall, with the long, with the small.
Yes.
Council, which in this circumstance was Olenna and Uncle Kevin.
Yep.
Or Hand of the King, Kevin Lannister. And she goes in, meetings canceled, blah, 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 blah. End of the story, end of the rope. To make this shorter, she basically is like, we need to save Marjorie. And obviously, Elena's like, yes, let's do it. And Jaime's like, hey, you got to get your army in here. And, you know, we're going to kill him. And she's like, yes, let's do it. And Uncle Kevin's like, yeah, but the king told me not to, like...
Not to do anything with my army.
And then Cersei's kind of like, well, did he tell you to, like, did he tell you that you could just stand down? And is that all right? And he goes, well, he never said I couldn't do that. And it's like, well, then you're all good. And plus, she kind of like, you know what I mean, even gets in there even deeper. Is like, yeah, your son is part of this, and you want him back. So these two are definitely have, like, everyone in that room, maybe Jaime Lannister a little less than everyone else, but everyone in that room has a, like, either a family member or, like, someone, or a connection with these Faith Militant.
I had never put together that Lancel was Kevin's son.
Oh, you never knew that?
No.
They introduced that in season 5.
Well, I knew that Lancel was like a Lannister. He was
because he's cousin.
But I wasn't...
Well, he's Tyrion's cousin.
Yeah, I didn't know it was.
Oh yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's even more. This was a much more productive confrontation with the small council than the last time Jaime and Cersei went in there.
Yeah, last episode. Yeah. And I enjoyed this scene. I enjoyed how Olenna and Kevin were very hostile when they came in, but then they kind of like opened up to their ideas. And Cersei totally played them. Like, I mean, Cersei definitely like although she doesn't like Marjorie, which they even established even in that last scene to remind the audience that she doesn't like Marjorie, which you already know. She doesn't give a hell. She does not care.
Yeah.
Like, she does not want her to like go through the same thing she went, which is what stopped. Which is what got Olenna like, oh, we can't have her do the Walk of Atonement because she's the queen. Like, if she does that, she's done. Like, no one will take her seriously. No one will take the king seriously. And Cersei realizes that. Cersei's like, I can't have Tommen we need Tommen to be a strong king somehow. So we can't have like Marjorie, you know what I mean? Have the queen go through what I went through.
Yeah.
So yeah, that she's not pro Marjorie. She's just so anti High Sparrow and Faith Militant that she's willing to put that aside, just to get back at the High Sparrow.
Yep.
Yeah. So do you think? I mean, we saw in the trailer that, you know, Jaime Lannister leading the Tyrell army, which they also mention it's the second largest army in Westeros. I really think we're going to see us I think we're really going to see that next episode.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I think we're at the point because we know Jaime Lannister's going to the Riverlands, and next episode is episode 5, so he has to beat you know what I mean? He has to kind of get to the Riverlands. So I think next episode's going to be that event, and maybe the trial will happen the episode after, or maybe even next episode. We don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe there may not even be a trial, depending on
there
how
is
the
there is going to be a trial because in the trailer we see it.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Well, it could be that the army comes in like during the trial.
That could absolutely be the case.
So
yeah,
that would be interesting to see.
That would be very interesting.
Although they did say that Marjorie would be making her walk of atonement before the trial. So
no, I think the walk of atonement would be after Cersei's trial.
Oh, it'd be after Cersei's trial.
So Cersei would have her trial, and then Marjorie would do her walk of atonement, then her trial.
Okay.
So I think they specifically mentioned that in the scene.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe the trial we see isn't Marjorie's; it's actually Cersei's. So maybe Marjorie never even goes to a trial. So maybe that trial has nothing to do with the Tyrell army. It's just Cersei, her trial, and then later they do the invasion. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be interesting to see. Yep. But all right. So we're going to move on to someone we haven't seen in a while, Mr. Peter Baelish in the Vale. This scene's very short, so we're not going to spend too much time on it. But they did talk about some important points. So basically, he arrives there. Robin is still Robin.
Yep, not changed at all.
This little kid, except he's got much bigger.
Yes, he is tall.
Yeah, he's tall and big, and I'm like, oh my god. But basically, there's a small interaction with them, and he kind of like tests like Robin's like, I guess like patience almost to kind of like throw
Waymar Royce.
Yeah, Sir Royce down the
through the moon door.
Through the moon door. But obviously, that was just like a little test to show Robin's character not changing at all.
Not at all.
Peter's kind of like, oh no, we need Royce because we are gonna go help Sansa. Mm-hmm. And it's a cut scene. That's all. That's the whole scene.
Yep.
I thought the scene was cool. I'm glad we saw Peter back. I thought the reveal was awesome. How like the cart like fell down.
Yeah.
Like the door to the cart fell down and he walks out and he's just like, Robin! And then Robin drops the bow. I thought the scene was very well shot and very well directed. I really liked the direction of this scene and how everyone moved around. I thought it was a great way to bring him back. I think this was a better way to bring him back than to do like a shock reveal like a few episodes later. Like Sansa's just running from somewhere and then he comes out of nowhere. Like I'm glad they're kind of like establishing that he's coming back. Yep. But do you actually think he's serious about avenging Sansa's cause? Because he's said shit like this all the time.
I don't know. He truly loved Catelyn Stark.
True, but.
And he's projected her onto Sansa.
True, but he had no problem giving Sansa the Ramsay, knowing that she would be raped, knowing that all this would happen. So I feel like not only does she have a right to be pissed at him, I feel like he doesn't really have a right to kind of like, what I mean? Not he has a right to support her cause, but I don't know if I believe his true intentions.
Well, it's hard to believe Baelish's intentions ever.
Anything he says.
Yeah, because almost nothing he said has been truthful.
And I feel like there's no way that he's just like on Sansa's team now. I feel like he's doing this to get something out of it, and I know it's not just Sansa. Mm-hmm. Like he's not someone to like get caught up on like love and stuff. Even though he did with Catelyn, he kind of got over that and kind of like used Catelyn to get to Ned and used Ned to get him murdered to get the power. Like he just is using everyone. Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting to see how he uses Sansa. But, What did you think of this scene? Did you enjoy this scene?
Robin hasn't changed.
Nope.
Baelish still has complete control over him too.
Yes.
And he has Royce intimidated by that because Royce knows that
Robin's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So, and that Baelish just has his hand on the controls with him. Yeah. Because Baelish knows how to play to Robin. He gave him a falcon, and it was just, I will do whatever this man says.
Pretty much, yeah. So, pretty much.
Yeah.
So now we're going to move on to another very short scene at Winterfell. So Osha's kind of escorted in, and Ramsay's cutting an apple. And honestly, while I was watching cutting an apple, I'm like, I really want an apple right now. I don't know why. I love apples. I am in love with apples. So I'm like, I really just want to play apples to apples and eat some apples. But anyway,
I've played the game forever.
Yeah. So we get this little scene. Well, we play Cards Against Humanity. That's basically like an adult version of apples to apples.
We haven't played that game in forever.
We haven't played that game in forever. Yeah, it's been a long time. Anyway, back to Game of Thrones.
Da, da, da.
Okay. So we have this short little interaction where Orsha's like, well, I'll kind of do what I did when Theon had me. I'll seduce Ramsay and I'll kill him with the knife you didn't cut the apple.
Yep.
And then Ramsay's kind of talking about it took a while to break Theon, but he, eventually told me how Brandon Rickon escaped, and he told me you helped him. And then she reaches for the knife, but he already had a knife in his hand. He stabs her in the neck, and she dies, and the scene moves on. As soon as Asha walked into that room, I knew she was dead.
I knew she was dead when she looked at the knife. Like,
yeah.
When she looked at the knife and I knew she was going to try to kill him, I was like, there's no way Ramsay's dying.
There's no way Ramsay's going to die.
So Asha's dead.
Yeah, basically. It feels like every Ramsay's been in every episode this season, and besides the first one, like a major shock event or death has happened.
Yeah.
In episode 2, we had him kill his father. Last episode, it was Rickon and Asha there, and now this episode, Asha's dead. Like, it just seems like they're trying to put all the shock value in that, but it's not. I don't think it's working anymore. I'm not saying I didn't like the scene. I mean, I didn't because I liked Asha, but I felt like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I felt like maybe it would have been better if they had Asha stick around for a few episodes to kind of build her character back up. Mm-hmm. That would have been pretty cool because we haven't seen her for 3 seasons, so I thought it would have been really cool to build up Asha again.
Yeah.
Kind of show her doing some badass things. You know what I mean? Maybe even almost escape at one point, and then her die. I feel like they maybe would have added a little more.
Yeah.
I guess they don't have the time to do that, but
it kind of just she's back and now she's dead.
And it's yeah. Don't you feel bad? It's no, because
she was kind of important when she was with Brandon Rickon.
Yeah.
And then she just
if she died then, she would have. Yeah. So I feel like this was just used for shock value, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I thought the scene was the scene and the writing and the interaction was pretty well done. But I just felt you know what I mean. The whole point of it was to be make the people watching go, oh, didn't see that coming. But they fail in that aspect. But. So I liked the scene a lot, but I felt like they could have, put this a few, maybe, you know what I mean, establish Asha, at least, not even this episode, just show her doing some cool stuff for 5 minutes or so, get us to love her again, then kill her.
Yeah.
I love Asha, but I just, you know what I mean, you're gonna get to know her again. I mean, we haven't seen her for 3 seasons.
Yeah. It was kind of weird for them to just kind of shoehorn her killing just randomly. It's just okay.
Yeah. They could have handled that death much better. Anyway.
Yep.
We're gonna move on now to the Iron Islands. We get another short scene between Yara and Theon. Mm-hmm. Theon returns, and Yara is not happy to see him and not to welcome him back for obvious reasons. Yep.
She initially thinks that he's there to try to challenge her claim to the throne
during the King's movie. Yes, and also she's kind of pissed because she tried to save him and men died for him,
and then he just didn't leave.
He didn't leave, so she kind of felt you know what I mean. He kind of was a you know what I mean, an asshole. Before he got caught, and then he got caught, and then, you know what I mean? So she feels that he's just this guy is just you need to get your shit together, Theon.
Yeah.
I get it. I saw your penis in a box. I get it. But you need to really get your shit together.
Yeah.
And he's I don't want to be, you know what I mean? I don't want to be in charge of King of the Iron Islands. I don't want to be in charge of the Iron Islands. All I want right now is for you to be. Yes. You know what I mean? You to be in charge of the Iron Islands. And it's yeah, well, that makes sense. But yeah, no, I enjoyed the scene quite a bit. What did you think of it?
It was pretty good because Yara was just laying into Theon about everything that happened. Yeah. And then Theon came back with the I want you to lead to try to calm her down, and it worked. So.
He could not take it. He's still. I mean, he's getting back to being. No, I don't think he's ever going to be how he used to be, which is good.
Yeah.
But not good because what he had to go through. But I think he's going to become someone different, a quieter person. But he's definitely still broken. But he's definitely climbing out, and he's definitely, you know what I mean. He's back with his family now. He's supporting Yara. So it's going to be interesting to see where Theon goes. Do you think Theon is eventually going to be, Lord of the Iron Islands?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah,
I
don't think so either.
I don't think Yara ended up being.
Yeah, I don't
either. I think they might end up picking someone else.
Well, probably Euron. He comes back, and maybe they have to fight against Euron. I don't know. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen in this plot. I really am.
I think Theon's support to Yara might hurt her more than help her.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know if I think that. I just think that, it's. I don't know. I don't really. I know this is going. This is the one plot I have no idea where it's going.
Yeah.
This is really hard to predict because we don't really have much background on it, so it's kind of hard to predict what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen because I hope good shit happens. But they didn't wait. They waited almost no time to get Theon back there.
Yeah.
They just took an episode off of him and they got him right back there, which I guess is I'm not complaining. I'm glad he's back there, but. Yeah, so
There wasn't much to gain from his journey back to the Iron Islands.
Pretty much, yeah.
Just get on a boat and go.
Yeah. But you do have to admit, it's a little suspicious from, Yara's perspective that he's coming back.
Like, right after his father died.
Yeah, so she should... I mean, she has every right to be suspicious.
Yep.
So now we're going to move on to Marine.
Yes.
So we have a scene in Marine where Tyrion, Grey Worm, and Missandei are kind of like stepping up to, or discussing with the masters of Astapor, Yunkai, and Volantis.
Yes.
Kind of to make like a deal almost, to be like, so Tyrion comes up with a deal. He's like, listen, you will stop funding the Sons of the Harpy, right? Mm-hmm. And we will stop the Civil War, and we'll give you 7 years to stop slavery, and we'll kind of like give every, you know what I mean? We'll compensate you for everything you lost. And Grey Worm and Missandei are like, no, like not on board. This is not cool, because they were both slaves. Mm-hmm. They're like, this is not happening. This is not cool. And Tyrion's like, you need to do this. And then there's also this interaction that Tyrion has with other slavers, and they're like, no, stop this. He's like, no, we gotta have this conversation.
Yeah.
Missandei and Grey Worm are with me, and they're like they pretend to be with him, like just to like calm it down.
Yeah.
And even after, like, we're not with you, like this is not gonna work. So I thought this was a very interesting dynamic, and it definitely the creators of the show alluded Tyrion to Abraham Lincoln almost, because Abraham Lincoln did try to stop the Civil War. He didn't want, not stop the Civil War. He never wanted the Civil War really to happen. He just kind of wanted to make a deal with the slave owners in the South to basically be like, hey, we'll give you, we'll compensate you, and we'll do this, and we'll get rid of slavery. And they were like, no, it's not happening. So, yeah. And then also Grey Worm adds after that to the point that, yeah, like, these guys are going to play you. Like, you're not playing them, they're playing you.
Yeah.
Which I totally think it's going to happen. But at the same time, it's Tyrion. Like, I feel like he can outplay anyone.
I feel like he was going to be outplaying them, but I feel like it's not even going to get to the point where he could play them.
Yeah.
Like, they're not even going to get close to the 7 years for it to even matter. So.
Yeah. So these 3 scenes almost acted as, like, one whole scene. Mm-hmm. Since it was, like, the same, like, you know what I mean? Same, like, conversation going on just in 3 different locations. So what did you think of these scenes?
It showed more of Tyrion thinking that he knows everything.
Yeah.
But what I think he didn't foresee is the amount that Missandei and Grey Worm would reject his proposition, and the others, and the other slaves would reject his proposition. And
even he said, "Well, I was a slave," and Missandei was like you weren't a slave.
Yeah.
Like, you were a slave for like a few days. Like, you weren't a slave your entire life.
Yeah.
Like, kid, step down. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I feel like it's this is kind of like a battle. Like he's so this would be like a classic, like this would be a circumstance that would occur in King's Landing. Like, Tyrion's kind of like treating it like that. Like Grey Worm's like, we need to spill blood. Like, that's the only way we're gonna get this. Do this. Yeah. But Tyrion's like, no, let's talk about it with them. So I feel like he's trying to spar with the masters, like, verbally, and Grey Worm and Missandei like holding knives behind their back, like, we gotta kill these guys.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's a very tense situation. I feel like they are on the brink of civil war, and you could even say civil war is occurring right now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, yes. I enjoyed these scenes. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed these scenes. I thought they were interesting. But that's about it. I guess I didn't really. I wasn't like in love with them. I wasn't like man, these scenes are the best. Yeah. But I enjoyed them.
It's just nice to hear Tyrion talk,
and it's nice. And I mean, it's good to check him out. So
I could listen to Tyrion talk all day.
Yeah. I feel like me too. I feel like these scenes are really like setting up a lot of stuff that I'm very excited to see. And I feel like Marine, the Civil War that's going to occur in Marine, it's going to occur very soon. Yeah. I feel like we're only getting closer. So. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess that's it with Marine too. Yeah. So now we can move on to our last plot, which was kind of like the dominant. It was the dominant plot in this episode. And we're probably gonna end up talking about it the most, and that has to do with old Daenerys. Yes. Jorah and Dario. Mm-hmm. So let's start off with Jorah and Dario. So they immediately arrive at Vastoth Rack. We haven't seen them since episode 1, which is fine. Whatever. We don't really need to see every single bit of their journey. So they finally get there. And they're like, all right, we need to get in there, throw away the weapons, you know what I mean, because we can't bring weapons in there. Mm-hmm. And while they're throwing away the weapons, Dario, which I thought was like one of the biggest moments of the episode, Dario sees Jorah's grayscale. Yeah. And I have another problem. So
What would that be?
I have another problem. I felt like his reaction was a little, not weak, but it was just kind of like, oh, you have grayscale? I won't touch you. Let's move on. I feel like his reaction would be like, holy shit! Like, oh my god! Like worried for his life. Because, like, grayscale can kill you if it just, like, brushes against you. So, like, I feel like it would have been like, oh, like he would have been like shown like some like, holy shit, like this is not gonna work out, but they didn't, and it was like,
That's kind of how just Dario is. He's kind of
yeah, but I felt like it's grayscale.
Yeah,
like that's scary stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like I like if Jorah took a knife out and threw it in front of Dario's face, like he'd be scared.
Yeah.
So I felt like he should have had that like similar reaction to it, and they kind of just like brushed over it. Whatever. I don't know. That's a nitpick problem. It's not a huge problem. I felt like his reaction was a little like, oh yeah, you know what happens? You should probably get to check that out. Bye. like so like nonchalant, like oh yeah, no good doctor. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when
it's like really.
It's like when you see someone who's got like a sprained wrist, like, hey, you should get that checked out.
Yeah. Well, it's more like if someone like is like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a non-offensive deadly disease, but I can't think of any. It's like seeing someone like being crushed by a car and being like, you should probably
you should probably go to the hospital. That might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe take a Motrin or two.
Yeah. See ya. And just like leave.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like, you know what, whatever. I understand that's a nitpick thing because they breeze over it, but whatever. So Jorah and Dario, sneak into the
Into Vice
Vast Dothrak, take a couple of guards out, and then they meet up with Daenerys. Daenerys kind of like escapes this the temple, kind of meets up with them, and they're like, she's like, oh shit, you're here? Like, we need to come up with a plan. So they come up with a little plan, and we come back to them later, and Daenerys is brought up in front of the
all the calls,
yep, at the temple.
Yep.
And basically all the cows like, yeah, like we don't like you, and she's like, oh well, you know what I think. You know what I think? I think that I should lead. And they're like, all right, we're all gonna fuck you, and we're gonna have our horses fuck you, and we're gonna just like destroy, because that's how they are or whatever. Men did it, whatever. So basically, she's like, you know what? You guys can't rule the Dothraki, but I can. So she sets the place ablaze. Yep. She's like, she cuts the landline so they can't call 911, and they push down the flames, and I don't know how it burst.
Yeah, I don't know how it caught.
I don't know how it caught.
Because it was just like a dirt ground.
I don't know how that caught.
Well, I mean, I understand how it caught. Like, if the fire had.
Well, no, because it looked like there was like some like sort of fuel on the ground.
Yeah.
Because when it hit the ground, there was like a liquid substance. But how did she get that on there?
I don't know.
How was that? Jorah and Dario's work?
Maybe.
Their work was just to lock the door. Because that was their work.
Yeah.
They locked the door. I don't know how that happened. I looked into it, but I couldn't figure it out. I'm not sure if that's a plot hole, or if they,
Or maybe if they'll explain it, or
I don't know. Whatever. I can look past that. You know. Just there's few nitpicks I can kind of look past.
She's just like, I am the unburnt.
Yeah.
None of you.
So she sets them ablaze, and the whole place is on fire.
And all the Dothraki come running, and there's like, my god.
And the scene actually mirrors two scenes. One particularly is as the season finale of season 1.
Yeah.
Where she, with the Cal. But there was only like 5 or 6 people there who were like, oh shit. But here the whole, Cal Saul was
Which
there.
mirrors the end of season 3.
Which ends exactly.
When all the slaves came out.
Exactly. And we see Daenerys and we see Emilia Clarke naked. Not a body double. She actually is naked, which I guess was interesting. Whatever.
Her precise words were, that ain't no body double.
Yeah. Those were... Well, because in her contract, it says she doesn't need... It's not required for her.
Yeah.
Maybe she just chose to. I don't know. Not really a big deal. Everyone... That was the major thing that came out of this episode. It's like, oh my god, she was naked. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Whatever. But yeah, that really... Her coming out naked... That actually was a concern, though. That was going through my head. Cause I'm like,
yeah, like, her clothes are not going to still be on.
Well, no, yeah, that was going through my head, like, while she was walking out. I'm like... I know the actress is against, herself going naked from now on. So, like, if she comes out with clothes, that would ruin the scene.
Yeah.
But she didn't. So I was like, all right, that's good. And I thought it was a body double, but after looking it up, it wasn't. So, Good job. Yeah, so what did you think of this scene?
It was great, because it was weird to see it in the middle of a season, though. Something, like, that massive.
I guess.
But it kind of, like, I don't know. because
I felt like they couldn't do this at the end of the season. They needed to get this done. And like I predicted that she would get the Dothraki on her side. I thought it would take the whole season, but I'm glad she got it now. I think that the fact that she got the Dothraki on her side now means she's heading to Westeros.
Yeah.
Like, she even said in her speech, like with Khal Drogo, I plan to head west, and you're an idiot. You're an idiot. So now, I really think that she's really going to Westeros. And I think that's gonna be the big season.
Season 7?
No. I think at the end of this,
like
I think the big
the big leave off.
Instead of this being like the end of her,
It'll be like her
plot
sailing off.
line in the season, I think her getting to Westeros would be her final plot line in the season. I honestly really do. Especially after this.
I'm just chugging along.
So let me just say, this scene, aside from how that caught on fire, I don't know, was my favorite scene in the whole season so far.
Okay.
Not even close. I mean, well, I can't think of any other ones even really close. This is definitely my favorite scene in the entire season.
It's definitely in my top 2. I don't know if it's number 1, but I don't know if I could put the other one as number 1 either.
What would the other one be?
Like Jon Snow's revival scene.
Yeah.
Just I love the way that scene was put together, with them leaving and then them coming back.
So right.
But I don't know.
You know how I feel.
This one might be better. That one might be better. You have your opinion. So
yeah,
I have
I
my
know.
opinions.
I think this one is by far the best scene in the season, because it kind of shows she's back.
Yeah.
She hasn't had a badass scene like this in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's kind of been just like, oh, I'm unburned, I'm badass. And she was kind of badass in season 3 too.
Yeah.
But like season 2 she wasn't, and season 4 and 5 she wasn't. So it's good to see her back. It's finally good to see the Daenerys back. Get the Dothraki. She belongs with the Dothraki. She has them on her side.
Mm-hmm.
And she just walks through fire. That's so cool. And I love it. And I love Daenerys again. Like, Daenerys was honestly my favorite character. Like, one of my, not my favorite, but like in my top 3, like in season 1 and in season 3, I loved her a lot. But since then, like, she's like not been one of my least favorite characters, but one of like the characters I care least, like, I don't care about.
Yeah.
Like, I just was kind of like, oh, Daenerys is here, whatever, move on. But now I'm back.
She's just been doing the same thing.
I'm back on Team Daenerys.
Yeah.
As of right now, as of this moment, episode 4, Daenerys is my favorite character in the season so far. Like, if the season ended today, she'd be number 1, my favorite character during the season. She's just, the scene alone was awesome, and I really hope they keep this momentum going, because I do enjoy my Daenerys.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought about this scene.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like the scene really helped the episode out.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get on to the final thing we go over, which is the plots that we didn't see in this episode.
Yep.
So start off with the plot we still haven't seen yet, which is Dorne.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no problem with that.
Me neither.
I didn't like Dorne season. I didn't like Dorne at all last season. I liked kind of Jaime and Bronn and Dorne.
Jaime and Bronn was good.
But I didn't like anything else in Dorne, and that's all there is. Jaime and Bronn aren't there anymore, so I don't give a shit about Dorne. So I'm glad we didn't see Dorne. I didn't like it in episode 1. I felt like what they did is they kind of like amended things in episode 1. We're like, all right, like, we're just gonna get everything done here, so you don't have to see this anymore. It's like, all right, cool, and we'll come back to it like later. It's like awesome. Like, they did a good job with that. Like, even though I was like, they did it too fast in season 1. Episode 1. I'm glad they did it too fast, so they can get past it and not have to like go to that anymore. So I was all right with that. I was all right with not seeing Dorne. And then we also did not see, for the first time this season, we did not see Arya and Bravos.
Oh, yeah.
Which also I am totally fine with.
Yeah.
They did a lot with her last episode. She was in the past 3, and she didn't do anything too significant, I feel, in those 3 episodes. She got her sight back, which I'm still upset about. So don't make me more upset by showing me it again. Like, keep it out of this episode. That's fine.
Yep.
I think we'll probably see her like next episode, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And finally, of course, well, I guess not finally because there's 2 more, but we also have Bran Stark.
Nope, no Bran
who was
Stark.
not in this episode. I'm not sure how I feel about this because I have.
Tower of Joy next episode? Question mark.
I don't think so. I think they're past that for a while. But I've expressed, my love for the Bran Stark's plot.
Yeah.
I loved Bran Stark in episode 2. I loved Bran Stark in episode 3. One of my biggest problems with the first one was, even though
The lack of Bran Stark.
was the lack of Bran Stark, which I accepted, and probably, which makes sense, but still upset me. So the fact that he wasn't in this I'm like, oh no, Bran. Oh darn.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
I like the jump in the past. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. So I think he'll be in the next episode.
Yeah.
I think if they don't have him in the next episode, I'm actually gonna be pissed.
Yeah.
Like, they can't go. They cannot.
They can't go 2 episodes
This
without Bran.
and any like from in this season they can't do that. They can't have 2 episodes without Bran. So they had what, like 11 without him in a row. So they can't have 2. No.
Nope. The last plot we didn't see is Sam and Gilly.
Sam and Gilly, correct.
They're on the way to Old Town.
We saw them last. They kind of like checked on them last episode. I think we'll see him next episode.
Yeah.
I'm like I don't think we can wait till episode 6. I think we kind of need to see them at least to the like amount we saw them last episode.
Yeah.
Like, at least check in with them again. Like they're at Dorne and they're like dealing with the TSA and they're like, oh, we need to check your bags. Like at least do that.
Go to Hornhill first.
Oh, that's true. Oh, the TSA. Oh, dude, the TSA in Hornhill are the worst.
Yeah.
They're the worst.
They
Oh,
do like full body scans on every
they're
other person.
terrible. Dude, that you're not allowed to bring in Valerian steel. You're not even allowed to bring in wildlings, so that's going to be a whole mess.
Yeah.
But they don't have to worry about wildlings too much because literally they live in the opposite
End of the world.
end of the world. Yeah. Yep. All right. So we will now give our overall thoughts on this episode. Bob, what did you think?
I thought it was a good episode. It was not as good as last episode, in my opinion. It had a scene that was better than last episode, but it was good.
I completely disagree. I think this episode was like leagues better than the last episode. I liked the last episode a lot. I thought it was like, I think this was the best episode of the season so far.
Okay.
I thought these last 2 episodes.
You did think that like each episode would get progressively better. When the season started.
Yeah. I don't think next episode will be able to match this one. And I know I said that last week, but like, yeah, no, I think this was by far the best episode. Like, because like last episode I was fine with every single plot except for Arya Stark. Mm-hmm. In this episode, I was fine with every single plot. There was not a single plot where I'm like, oh, I didn't like. They had a few nitpicks, with the whole like Sansa and Jorah and Dario and even the Dany and the then catching on fire. Like I had little nitpicks, but like I can move past those nitpicks. Like I can totally be like, yeah, they didn't, whatever. Like I can move past that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's hard to move past Arya Stark getting her sight back and kind of like lazily going, like, you know what I mean? Just that whole. I feel like that's lazy. But no, I think this episode by far is the best of the season. I loved last week's episode, and I think like you saying like, oh, last week's was better is not like a how
it's not
like a how dare you. It's more like a I can see that if some people would prefer that one, but I think this one was by far. I think like that Daenerys scene like made up like was better than any scene like since like I don't know like probably like last season honestly. Yeah. So I felt like that did a lot. I felt like the Sansa and Jon reunion did a lot for me, and I really, really, really enjoyed just the pacing of the episode. I enjoyed that they left a lot of stuff out. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I felt like, you know what I mean, leaving Arya alone, leaving Bran alone was all right for this time, and although I would prefer to see Bran Stark in here
as much as possible.
Much as possible, it's fine because it wouldn't be the episode too cluttered. Yeah, and I felt like the pacing of this episode was very well done. Like even watching this episode, this episode felt super long. Did you feel that? Yeah. Like, this episode, I think actually I did look. It was the longest episode, so maybe that's why. But like
we also did start watching it a little late. So.
Well, I mean, like that's true, but I watched it again too. Yeah. And even before I watched it again, I think of an hour. I did not think of like what time it is, and it felt longer. It felt pretty long, and it was the longest episode, so it didn't make sense. But so I thought the pacing was very well done, and I felt like every plot line I enjoyed to a degree. There were some I enjoyed more. There were some I enjoyed less. There was some that I was on the edge of enjoying it, and the edge of thinking it was all right. But there was not a single plot in here. This was the first episode that there wasn't a plot where I wasn't like, oh, I don't like what happened here. Yeah. So absolutely, I feel like this was not a perfect episode, but very like this is the standard I hold. Like this met the standard and went a little bit beyond. I felt like this episode. So I mean, like if like every other episode can be like this good or even better, even slightly like a little worse, like not as good, I'd be totally fine with that. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd be totally fine. All my problems in this episode were nitpicks, so I can totally look over them. Yeah. There weren't any major things. But yeah, so really quick, we're just gonna talk a little bit about next episode, not too much, like only a few seconds here. I think next episode we are gonna see at least some of the Tyrell army coming into King's Landing.
Okay.
Maybe they'll set that up. But I think we're definitely going to see, they're not just going to not show King's Landing next episode. Like, they're definitely going to have to start cooking that. Maybe we'll see Cersei's trial?
Could.
Very possible.
Yeah, we could see either the lead into the trial or the trial itself.
And I think we will see some of Sansa and Jon Snow getting their forces together and getting ready to head south.
We'll see Jon Snow finally leave Castle Black, I believe.
Do you think he's going to leave?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he actually left already.
I thought he left at the end of last episode.
When the episode started, he was still there. I'm like, I thought
he walked out the gate.
I thought he walked out the gate, but maybe he walked out and he's like, ah, shit, I've got my sword. I gotta go back and get my sword. But I don't know. It was yeah. I think we're gonna see Jon Snow and Sansa kind of like slowly moving towards there. Yeah. I think that we're gonna see how they're gonna because they're gonna have to rally houses. They'll probably send Davos out, Brienne out, or something to rally the houses behind them because rallying the North is a difficult task.
Yes,
and they only
especially with the Umbers and the Karstarks now back into Boltons.
Yeah. Also, yeah, true. Yeah, true. Also something they covered is the 5,000 men. They covered the amount of army. And I feel like what the show's going to do is get that number to be even. Yeah. So they're at 5,000 right now, the Boltons. Yep. But that's also not including the Karstarks and the Umbers.
No.
I think with that, they're at like 8,000. Mm-hmm. Probably not, like 7,000, I think. I don't think that they know that. They don't know that. So I think that would be kind of like the big twist to them is, oh no, they have these guys on their side. Uh-oh. But we also don't know if the Umbers actually are on their side yet. Yeah. Because he never swore loyalty. He kind of just showed up. So we'll see it. We'll see. Yeah, so definitely see some of that coming to fruition next episode. But I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna try to match the numbers. Okay. Like have it be like an even battle to make it much more exciting. Yeah. So we'll definitely see some of that next episode. I think we're absolutely gonna see a lot of the Iron Islands, or at least a good amount of it next episode. Mm-hmm. Like we're definitely at least gonna see like maybe not the King's Moot. Or maybe we might, but we're definitely gonna have to see like some more Euron and that, like getting that like wrapped up, and getting that getting that started basically, like getting that whole plot moving along. I feel like that's gonna have a significant impact. I can't think of words are difficult. Words are hard. Doing a podcast for someone who can't fucking speak for their life is just why'd we do this? It's a terrible idea. Shutting down. Last episode.
5 episodes in, we're done.
Closing it. We're done. Bye, guys. Yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of that. I don't know if we're gonna see Arya next episode. I don't know.
But I think we will.
You think you will?
I don't think they'll leave her for.
Look, I love my Arya, but her plot's not doing anything for me. So I don't know. I'm not.
I just can't see them not coming back to her.
I'm not for, but I'm not against it either. Okay. And Bran Stark. I think we would absolutely see Bran Stark next episode. Yep.
I think we'll go to his scene like we have the previous scenes. And we'll just be already in the past. But I'm not sure when it'll be.
Maybe we'll be in the. He could just be in the present, but somewhere else.
Could be
with the White Walkers. I don't know. We'll see. We know the White Walkers are in this episode, and they haven't shown up yet. And I think Jon Snow is going south. Yeah, he's going to Winterfell. I think where the series is going is he's going to go to Winterfell with Sansa. They're going to take it back, and then they're going to have to turn immediately around and go to the north and fight again. Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be great if Sansa killed Ramsay.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. We'll see about that. But I mean, I feel like what I'm saying is Jon Snow is not really going to have any White Walker action this season. Yeah. So I think maybe they'll leave that to Bran. Maybe. So maybe they'll start, going there. I don't think we're going to see any really more. I think we'll see some flashbacks near the end of the season, but I think they're probably going to turn to the White Walkers. Okay. Turn to that crisis. Probably either starting next episode or the episode after. Yeah. So I think that's where we're going. I think we're going to a big transition. I think we're preparing for a bunch of battles. The battle of Marine, Civil War Marine, battle at King's Landing, another Civil War, and the battle at Winterfell. Mm-hmm. I think we're all going towards there. And I think the episode 9 battle will be the battle at Winterfell. Okay. Battle of the Bastards.
Yes.
which is what everyone's calling it. So yeah, do you have any other predictions or any other things you think we're going to see next episode, or any things we're not going to see next episode that you want to touch on before we end this?
I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't go back to Daenerys next episode. We just went to Marine.
One more time?
I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see Daenerys next episode, if it just went to Marine.
I think we'll see her.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we did. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't. But like,
Really?
yeah, just because it's just a huge,
Well, they did leave off on a
huge drop off.
Yeah. Maybe what they kind of did with Arya Stark almost is she's got a site back. Let's take a break.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I could see that. I definitely want to see. I don't think she's gonna be the focus on the next episode.
No,
Definitely not.
she won't be like the start and then end.
Yeah. But maybe we will go back to her. Actually, interesting point. Like, at this point, every episode has started off with the Jon Snow plot.
Yeah.
Every single episode started off with Jon Snow. So, do you think the next episode is gonna be the first one that doesn't?
No.
They're gonna start with Jon Snow again.
Yeah.
Just every episode.
Yeah, they're trying to make him. They're like throwing him to the forefront this season, especially.
Well, obviously, I mean, the whole cliffhanger was if he's going back or not. Yeah. Makes sense. So yeah.
I don't think there'll be any change in that regard.
No. So anything else you can add?
No, I think that's it.
Oh yeah. So that was our episode review of season 6, episode 4, Book of the Stranger.
Yes.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter.
Like our page on Facebook.
And like our page on Facebook. You can find the links in the description below to do that. That will help us out very much.
Yep.
And also subscribe because that helps as well.
It does.
So this is Westeros After Hours. I am Sean.
I'm Bob.
And we will see you guys next week for season 6, episode 5. Whatever the title is.
Whatever the title is.
I actually read it, but I don't want to know almost. And we try to go into these episodes as blind as possible.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we like to come out of them as blind as possible for the next episode. So.
Exactly. So thank you guys for listening, and we will see you guys next week.
When I'm hopefully better and not under the weather again.
And not under the weather. Yes, we will get our umbrellas ready.
Yep, they will be prepared at least 24 hours in advance.
Yes. So we will see you guys then. Bye.
Goodbye.